Paperback writer.
Where do you prefer to do your writing?
In a computer lab or at the library. I like to write in a public place and listen to music because there are less distractions than there are at my house. It also lets me know how long I've been writing or not writing for, whereas at my house it's easy to get sucked into the computer screen all night.
Is there anything you do before you actually start writing?
If I'm writing in an academic piece, I usually start by searching the internet for sources. I will read through a ton of sources and type the facts or ideas that I like and their sources on a Word document and save it for the actual writing process. For creative writing, which I haven't done much of, I usually start by staring at a blank document for like 3 hours. Then eventually I start to visualize the story I want to tell in my head.
How do you decide what to write about, or where do you get your ideas from?
Pretty much everything I write is for school purposes, so there's always a general direction, if not a very specific place that my writing needs to go. When I do have a more control in a choice in what I write about my ideas, usually come from talking with my family. We kind of just bounce ideas off one another.
Are there any differences in your process when writing for an assignment versus writing for pleasure?
I have honestly never written for pleasure, like ever, unless Facebook statuses count.
Are there any tools you use to help you in your process?
For academic pieces, I always use an outline. I usually start with a generic outline like intro, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and all that. Then I add in each piece and it slowly builds itself. Once I've done all of my brainstorming and research, I can just kind of insert it into the outline in a logical order that also helps improve my thesis. With creative writing, I usually just start writing. On occasion, I've sketched out the story like a storyboard, but usually I just start writing.
What are the major challenges you face when writing?
Coming up with ideas is always pretty difficult for me. I feel like I can never think of anything. I also have a hard time getting started, but once I have started, I'm usually good to go. The thing that is most challenging for me is that I overthink everything, so sometimes I use a lot of unnecessary words or sentences.
What resources do you use to help you?
The internet, first and foremost, but specifically the Campbell Library website. They're super helpful for finding sources for academic pieces. Sometimes I'll have one of my sisters or my parents read something I've written just to see if it makes sense. I feel like people who know me can get what I'm trying to say if my paper piece isn't doing it quite right, so they can sometimes give me good advice on how I should revise it.
Are there any goals you have to improve your writing?
Stop overthinking it and just write. I would love to write more creative pieces, and once I'm doing it and reading something I have written, or when someone likes what I have written, I certainly feel good, but I generally don't write outside classroom purposes because I overthink it.
What benefits and drawbacks have you discovered in your writing process?
Benefits, I'm generally pretty organized when it comes to academic writing, so my process runs pretty smoothly. Keeping track of my sources helps out a lot, and I couldn't imagine writing a paper without an outline. Drawbacks, I overthink everything, which contributes to my serious problems starting creative writing pieces in particular. This generally involves some serious procrastination, then I end up writing a terrible piece because I wasted time poking holes in every idea that pops into my head.
Paperback writer.